أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. We start off by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending our peace and blessings upon our master Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with beneficial knowledge and understanding and wisdom. We ask Allah to make us people of the Quran. We ask Allah to make the Quran the spring of our hearts and the light of our comprehension in our chests. We ask Allah to make the Quran the light of our vision and the light of our hearing. We ask Allah to lighten up our days in this world with the Quran, and to lighten up our graves after we pass away with the light of the Quran, and to raise our ranks in the hereafter with the ranks of the Quran. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be with our brothers and sisters throughout the world. We ask Allah to aid them over their oppressors. We ask Allah to destroy the plots of their oppressors. We ask Allah to be with our Muslim brothers and sisters in Iran and in Lebanon and in Palestine and in Iraq and in Sudan and wherever there's oppression throughout the world. We ask Allah to aid the Muslims over the disbelievers and to destroy their plots and their plans and to embarrass them in this world and the next, and to grant them colon cancer and to grant them migraines and to grant them anxiety and depression. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this world a living hell for them all, inshallah. With that being said, we continue our prayer Shakhatila series, and today's topic is the 14th night's topic. We're in the 14th night of Ramadan, so basically we almost reached the halfway point of Ramadan, and I know it sounds cliche to say, but wallahi the month is flying by, it's going by very fast, and for me personally it's going by much faster than last Ramadan. It's a winter Ramadan, the days are much shorter, it's a much easier fast, so we ask Allah to accept our fasting and to make us love Ramadan. And inshallah we could be from those who love all acts of worship, and we embrace acts of worship. And we could teach our children to love the beauty behind the acts of worship, which is the spirituality and the spiritual change the act of worship comes with, and the transformation the act of worship does. For example, the fast in Ramadan makes the person naturally more grateful, and it makes the person naturally more God conscious, and it makes the person naturally closer to family and closer to the masjid. It makes the person feel good. When you fast Ramadan, you're abstaining from what you usually give into, and it actually feels good. It actually feels good to abstain. The feeling of not giving into what you want whenever you want is actually a good feeling. But we're programmed to believe that when you give yourself whatever you want, whenever you want, you will find happiness. I wanted to mention this point. We're programmed to believe that when you give yourself what you want and satiate your nafs, whenever you want, this is true happiness. So our society, it propagates and it teaches us to always give in whenever we want, whatever you want. It's all about your comfort. It's all about your satisfaction. It's all about your desires. It's a very selfish society. It's nafsi all the time. It's always me. It's not you. It's not the community. Islam comes and teaches us it's not me. It's all about the community. And it's all about what pleases Allah. But when you follow the command of Allah and you refrain from giving in, yani you abstain, you find a sweetness in the heart that you don't find when you give in. You find a sweetness through abstinence and through difficulty that you don't find when you're just giving into your nafs. Because giving into your nafs, for example, I was speaking to my brother the other day, and when you scroll down a feed, my brother was telling me this. He said, Ismail, did you ever feel that when you're scrolling down a feed and then an hour and a half passes and you don't even realize it? I go, wallahi, it's crazy. It's because you're comfortable. You know what the reason is? It's because you're, and then he said, on the contrary, when I try to read 3 minutes of Quran, it's like I read for an hour. The Quran is so taxing. You know why? Because you're programmed to just give into your nafs. Because when you're scrolling down reels, it's stuff that you like. Their algorithm is programmed to give you what you want to see. You know, so you're scrolling down and you're enjoying it, and you waste so much time. You waste so much time scrolling, and then an hour and a half passes, but it feels good. It feels good. No, it feels horrible. When you read Quran and you exert effort and go against your desires, it feels a lot better. But it's more difficult. Waking up at the time of Fajr to come to the masjid, or waking up at Fajr to pray Fajr, and then making wudu. You know when you get up for Fajr, you use the bathroom, you make wudu, and this is a process. You turn the light on. And all of this forces you to exit your comfort of your sleep. It's difficult to do this. It's difficult to do this, but with the difficulty, when you finish the Fajr, when you finish the Salah, you feel a feeling in your heart that you don't get outside of anything else in the world. It's the best feeling in the world because you went against your nafs. And it's the same thing with fasting. When you don't eat and don't drink in the daytime hours, and you abstain, and then you break your fast, you feel your nafs feels calmer, and your heart feels lighter, and you feel good. So today's topic is objectives of reflection, maqasid al-tadabbur. I'll go over them quickly. I wrote a couple down. So we have today's topic is the objectives of tadabbur al-Quran, which is the objectives or the goals you get out of Quranic reflection. Come, brother, come. He was sitting here. Come. It's okay. There's too much space, yani. We could put another 4 people. So today's topic is what are the goals that you get out of pondering? The first one, and I hope this is the most obvious one, I would like to ask you all before I mention it. So we have objectives or goals that we get out of pondering on the Quran. Mahmoud, what do you think is an objective out of pondering on the Quran? To remember Allah, good. You? To gain knowledge, good. That's one of them, good. You? Self-reflection, I like that, yeah? Which one? Same thing, there's 3 things said. What? Self-reflection. So the first thing that the scholars say is al-maqsad al-awwal, I guess Mahmoud was sort of right. It's ziyadat al-iman. It's to increase iman. So remembrance of Allah is increase of iman. And of course we get this from the ayah in Surah Al-Anfal, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ زَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. The first goal you get from pondering on the Quran is to increase your iman. But I would think this is common sense because you go to the Quran, to read the Quran to increase iman, to get closer to Allah. When you get closer to Allah, it means your iman is increasing. You know me, being close to Allah, if we say, brother, I want to get close to Allah, it means I want to increase my iman. Because the increase of iman means doing good, doing pious actions means you're gaining a nearness to God. When you say he's close to Allah, we don't mean he's physically close. We mean that he's close in his spirituality. His state is closer to God. And when you're far from Allah, we say, oh, he's far from Allah. It means his iman is low. So the first goal of reading Quran with contemplation and pondering is to increase your iman. As Allah told us in the Quran, and when Allah's ayahs are recited onto them, their iman is increased. The second goal of tadabbur is al-amal al-salih, is to implement that which you read and perform pious actions. What did you say, Ifat? Seeking knowledge? So the second goal is to act upon that which you read. And we mentioned this a bunch of times here. The Sahaba, they used to take their time when they memorize the Quran so they can implement that which they read. So your first goal when you read Quran is to increase your iman, to get closer to Allah, to mention Allah's name, to feel good in your heart. The second goal you get when you ponder on the Quran and when you read is to perform pious actions and to implement that which you read. And the third goal is al-hidayatu ila al-haqqi was-sawabi. I love this one. It's to be guided to the truth and what is upright and correct. For the Quran to guide you to the truth, hey, khalas, please, I beg you. To guide you to the truth and that which is upright and correct. In the Quran, Allah characterizes it as a furqan. تبارك الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نذيرا. Allah, He says, praise be to Allah, Tabarakallah, all praise is due to Allah, the one who sent down the Furqan to His slave, لِيَكُونَ لِلْعَالَمِينَ نَذِيرًا, so the Prophet Muhammad could be a warner to mankind. Do you know what the word Furqan means? Because the Quran is characterized as a Furqan. And there's another holy book in the Quran characterized as the Furqan. What is it? What's the other book that Allah mentions as a Furqan in the Quran? The Torah. The Torah was a Furqan. What is a Furqan? A Furqan is something that grants you the ability to see through fake. A Furqan is something that grants you the ability to see what is right from wrong. It's a, what's the word? It starts with a D. It's a differentiator. It's a criterion. There's another word I was looking for. It's a criterion. And it grants you the ability to assess right from wrong and to see past what is fake. So the Quran, Allah, He says, إِنَّ هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ يَهْدِي لِلَّتِي هِيَ أَقْوَمُ وَيُبَشِّرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ الَّذِينَ يَعْمَلُونَ الصَّالِحَاتِ أَنَّ لَهُمْ أَجْرًا كَبِيرًا. Allah, He describes the Quran as a criterion, as something that guides. He says, indeed, this Quran, it guides to that which is upright, and it gives the good news to the believers that do pious actions, that they will have a large reward. So the third goal and the third objective of pondering on the Quran is to do pious actions. and to see what right from wrong, and to be able to see right from wrong. And the Quran grants this. قَدْ جَاءَكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ نُورٌ وَكِتَابٌ مُبِينٌ يَهْدِي بِهِ اللَّهُ مَنِ اتَّبَعَ رِضْوَانَهُ سُبُلَ السَّلَامِ وَيُخْرِجُهُم مِّنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ بِإِذْنِهِ وَيَهْدِيهِمْ إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. Allah, He says, indeed, a book of light has come to you. A book of light. Light means guidance. And it's a clear book of light and guidance came to you, and it guides those who read it to the greatest ways. And it removes them from the darkness and it brings them into light. So to see truth from falsehood. Number 4 is what Ifat said, is al-maqsad al-rabi' is tahsil al-ilm al-nafi'. It's to acquire beneficial knowledge. The 4th objective of pondering on the Quran is to gain beneficial knowledge. And of course, if anyone wants to start any talab al-ilm or any seeking of knowledge, if someone wants to seek Islamic knowledge, the first thing he does is what? It's to learn Arabic. Why is learning Arabic the first thing you do? The first thing you study is Nahu, Sarf, Balagha. The first thing you study is Arabic language. Why do you study Arabic first? Why don't you study Quran first? What are you going to study, the Quran in English, yani? You're going to study Quran in English translation? It's not Quran. You have to be able to access the book in its original form. So, beneficial knowledge is through the Quran. Quran is the ultimate goal. Whenever someone studies, fiqh is all derived from the Quran. Hadith, we study hadith because it expands on the generality of the Quran. The Quran is the ultimate goal, always. And the 5th goal is to manifesting or highlighting the blessings found in the Quran and benefiting from them. إظهار ما في القرآن من بركاته والاستفادة منها. And the 6th one is بيان عالمية المنهج القرآني, to clarifying the universal concept of the Quran. والمقصد السابع is إحياء الفهم السليم للقرآن, reviving the sound and correct understanding of the Quran. We ask Allah to make us people of the Quran and to grant us the ability to see through fake. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be with our brothers and sisters throughout the world and to destroy all of those who oppress them and to ruin their plots and their plans. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Inshallah we can stand for Salat al-Isha.